Sometimes the hardest person to let go of isn't who someone actually was. It's who you believed they could become. You remember the good moments, explain away the inconsistencies, and keep thinking, maybe I just haven't seen the best of them yet. Meanwhile, what they repeatedly show you keeps telling a different story. That's why you keep trusting the version you imagined. Your mind can become attached not only to what happened, but to the meaning, potential, and future you built around it. And recognizing that difference can be painful, but it can also be where emotional healing begins. Most people don't build trust from imagination alone. Usually, there was something real that created hope. Someone showed kindness when you needed it. A colleague seemed dependable at first. A friend supported you during a difficult season. Someone made a commitment that sounded sincere. So when their behavior later becomes inconsistent, your mind has two competing versions to process. There's what you hoped their character represented, and there's what their repeated behavior is showing you now. Have you ever caught yourself thinking this way? But I know who they really are. Maybe you do know something good about them. But knowing someone has good qualities doesn't require you to ignore patterns that repeatedly hurt, disappoint, or confuse you. That distinction matters. A person's potential tells you what they could become. Their pattern tells you what you are actually dealing with. And when those two remain different for too long, hope can quietly become a reason to avoid reality. You start giving more weight to promises than patterns. You remember one thoughtful moment while explaining away 5 careless ones. You keep extending trust because you don't want to believe your earlier judgment was wrong. This can happen at work too. Maybe someone repeatedly promises to follow through, and you continue depending on them because you remember how capable they seemed when you first met. Eventually, the healthiest question is no longer, what are they capable of? It becomes, what have they consistently chosen? That question isn't cruel. It's clear. Why you keep trusting the version you imagined often becomes easier to understand when you stop judging people only by their best moments and start noticing their repeated choices. That doesn't require anger. It doesn't require revenge. It simply requires honesty. And honesty is one of the foundations of inner peace. Do you ever wonder why this keeps happening to you? Why, even after disappointment, part of you still wants to defend the version you believed in? Sometimes accepting reality feels like losing twice. First, you lose trust in the person. Then you lose the future, expectation, or understanding you had built around them. That second loss can be surprisingly difficult. Because now you're not only processing what happened, you're also processing what may never happen. And this is where people sometimes become trapped between two unhealthy extremes. One extreme says, keep believing. Maybe everything will change. The other says, never trust anyone again. Neither gives you much peace. Emotional maturity offers another path. You can accept someone as they are today without declaring that they can never change. People can grow. People can correct themselves. People can become more responsible. But their growth is their responsibility. Your responsibility is deciding what level of trust their current behavior has earned. That is very different from bitterness. You can forgive without immediately restoring the same access. You can wish someone well without depending on promises they haven't demonstrated. You can remain humble enough to admit, maybe I saw what I wanted to see. And you can practice patience without confusing patience with endless tolerance of the same harmful pattern. That is where self-respect and emotional healing meet. You stop needing reality to match your expectations. You stop fighting internally with what has already been shown. And gradually, the energy you spent interpreting someone else becomes available for your own growth. There is relief in that. Not because everything suddenly makes sense, but because you're no longer asking imagination to protect you from evidence. You can appreciate what was good, learn from what was painful, be grateful for what became clear, and move forward without carrying hatred with you. That is a quieter kind of strength. So, why you keep trusting the version you imagined may not be because you're unable to see reality. Sometimes it's because accepting reality means grieving an expectation you genuinely valued. Give yourself permission to see clearly. Not suspiciously. Not bitterly. Clearly. Let repeated actions carry more weight than imagined potential. Let trust grow where consistency supports it. And when someone shows you that your expectations and their choices are no longer aligned, you don't have to punish them or yourself. You can simply adjust. There is dignity in accepting what you cannot control, patience in allowing people to walk their own path, and wisdom in protecting your inner peace without hardening your heart. Sometimes healing begins when you stop asking someone to become the person you pictured, and finally respond to the person standing in front of you. Share your thoughts below. How are you healing today? Whatever you've had to reconsider, let clarity make you wiser, not colder. You can move forward with self-respect, gratitude for what you learned, and enough hope to trust again. This time, with your eyes open.